Hey, what's up, everybody? Sarah back. So in this video, I'm going to be answering a question from a subscriber. So in investment banking, what field should I choose? Equity analyst, private equity, fundamental analysis. I'm a little bit confused. Can you help me with this? Great. So first of all, thank you for your question. And for all others of you who are pursuing careers in equity research, investment management, portfolio management, buy side, investment banking, whatever it may be, please do go ahead and enter in your questions here to my YouTube channel. And please do allow me some time to answer. I actually have 4 children and I have a full-time business as well. So I will get to it when I can, but I cannot always do this in a quick manner. So to answer your question, what area should you choose within investment banking? I mean, hard to know unless I know what skills you have, but basically I would say here's to explain a lot of the questions that you asked about. So for example, equity analyst. So an equity analyst is a person that writes research reports on publicly traded companies. Now, oftentimes equity research is administered by sell side firms, meaning investment banks that have a research division. There is often a wall in between the investment banking and the research operations so that the investment bank would be unable to, for example, tip off the sell side or the research analysts about pending news in order to sway the stock one way or another. So those are laws that are in place. But however, a lot of equity research does come from the bulge brackets like, Morgan Stanley or like what used to be Lehman Brothers, where I used to work, a lot of the, like Goldman Sachs, for example, they have these research teams and they write these research reports. There are also independent equity research firms as well. Equity research is a great job for somebody that loves data and analysis and wants to model until the cows come home. I was an equity research analyst at Lehman Brothers. It was not a great job for me. I was not good at it. I mean, there's a writing component to it, but the writing component is just basically summarizing the data and the models. It's not like creative writing where you're out there to like propose new and different ideas or this or that. And in fact, equity research itself is quite formulaic, with many of the analysts saying some iteration of the same thesis. Very often there's not a lot of deviation. Like on any given stock, you don't get like 5 people saying buy, 5 people saying sell, and then like 5 people who are neutral on it a lot of times. And then they have these like kind of BS terms like strong sell, weak sell, like strong buy, weak buy. It's like no one wants to just say buy or sell. Like, you know what I'm saying? Like it allows for all kinds of kind of like, not sure I'm right about this, but so I kind of want to temper my thesis kind of a thing. So it's kind of like a little fluffy that way. But yeah, basically I feel like a lot of equity research analysts just will copy what each other say. And like, you don't see earnings and valuations differing like that greatly one from the next. So it's not really that, it's not like a creative job, really. It's very methodical. So that is how I would explain equity research. And like I said, if you just don't even, if you just love facts and figures and analyzing paper, like facts, then that's a great, and that's a great, if you like love industry news, etc. Now, what does an investment banker do? An investment banker will do things like underwrite an IPO or handle a merger and acquisition. Investment bankers also are involved in syndication of loans, meaning like a bunch of investment banks joining up into a circuit and loaning out like in the millions to companies that need leverage, that need debt, in other words, right? So these are all the kinds of things that investment banks do. So in addition to a modeling component, which is what you would be doing when you were an investment banking analyst, there's also there's a higher degree of like business savvy involved here. As you proceed up, there's going to be some level to which you're going to be speaking with representatives from the company and with other bankers. So it's more of a banking job when you proceed on, whereas like I said, in equity research, it's basically like a very kind of like head down, in the models kind of a thing. This can be a little bit more like having interpersonal relationships and, involving, I believe, a little bit more judgment and discretion and working in teams, I think a lot more. So private equity. Private equity means deciding like how to invest in companies that are private, not public. So, for example, a private equity analyst will, just very much like an equity research analyst, conduct research and valuation on the companies. A lot of times there's like on-site due diligence. There's an element here of like also doing due diligence to detect possible fraud, because you're making, excuse me, I'm sorry, I've been sick. You're making an investment. It's not just a paper research report. You're actually deploying capital. So there is some degree of due diligence that has to be done on the company as well. Private equity can be very risky. In a way you are like, there's, not as many standards or controls oftentimes that are applied to private companies because they don't fall under a lot of the rules and regulations that would apply to a publicly traded company. They're not as visible, and shareholders don't have much of there's no like public shareholders that get a vote in what the company does. So I believe it could be like in some ways a lot less transparent and can be a lot riskier to be investing in a private company. So, private equity can be very exciting as well for that reason. So within the realm of research, I think your last question was, what is fundamental analysis? Fundamental analysis means using the fundamentals of a company, the like balance sheet, income statement, and cash flow, whereas technical analysis involves different indicators involving the stock market. So there are like economic indicators, there are indicators in technical analysis about like, how the stock has been trading and what the specific stocks patterns are. So technical analysis is more using stock market signals, whereas fundamental analysis is, by the company's fundamentals, by what it says in their financial statements. So thank you everybody for watching. And if you're pursuing a financial career, equity research, wealth management, private equity, investment banking, please feel free to comment below or reach out to me with any questions that you may have. Thanks for watching.